So it's right here.
So we're not gonna call for public comments here.
Well, not public, it's not, yeah, you're right, it's not public. It's just
This is
anybody who
those folks
speaks.
in the room, right? Okay, to all the people in this room, okay.
And if they decide later they don't want to sworn again,
We get them,
that's
we
not,
get them.
you're right, it's not technically correct.
Okay, and so, okay, we have not signed.
Right, and to, you know, we generally don't limit their time.
Right, I got you, I got you. Good enough.
Hopefully we get paid.
Where Miss Harris? Miss Harris went out.
She come and she was over there. I'm not sure.
That's my chaplain. She ran to try to give us some food, man.
Chap, I'm getting eat too.
Let me give her a minute.
She's here.
Yeah, she's
Yeah, she was over. She was over. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, grew up.
Baptist church and chicken.
Dangerous combination.
You know them.
I know.
First time. You know of it.
She'll come here like she come here by herself. Then comes shit.
She took your place. None of my chaplains is here. I can call this meeting. I'd like to call the July meeting of the Edgecombe County Commissioners to order. At this time, would you offer prayer, Ms. Harris?
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you again for another day of life, health, and strength. Lord, we thank you for the citizens who may be gathered, those who may be listening. We ask that you get in each other's hearts and our hearts, that we will make the right decisions for all of our citizens. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Mr. Evans, safety instructions.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to invite Ms. Bess forward to give us our safety instructions for tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
To provide for the safety of those attending this meeting, please listen to the following instructions in case of an emergency. First, please take a moment to note where your exits are. If an emergency arises that prompts us to evacuate, please exit this room in a quick and orderly manner through one of the two doors to your right, and then proceed to the nearest stairwell, directions to which are indicated by the exit signs. Once you exit the building, we ask that you safely cross Granville Street, which is the street that runs beside the building, to our parking lot to be safely away from the building. Our staff will provide additional direction and assistance as needed. In the case of a tornado warning, we ask that you exit this room into the hallway where we will all remain until it is safe to exit. In any event of an active shooter, if there is an accessible escape path, please run and try to evacuate the premises. If you can't evacuate, find a place to hide where you are less likely to be found and lock any doors that you can. And as a last resort, and only if your life is in imminent danger, please fight. Our staff will provide additional direction and assistance on what to do. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Bess. Any additions or deletions to the agenda, Ms. Evans?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask if the board would consider adding one additional contract for your approval. I have two others that I will mention for your information, but I would ask if you would add one more contract for your approval. You have a copy at your seat.
Any objections from the board? Hearing none, they are added. At this time, you have our June 22nd special meeting minutes and our regular scheduled meeting of June 1. There any additions or corrections? If not,
Mr. Chairman, could I point out, you'll note in error, we put in your agenda packet the incomplete minutes for the June 22nd special meeting. You now have a copy at your seat, but you've not had a chance to review that. So you're welcome to table those if you like. You do also have the June 1st minutes for your review.
since you not had a chance to review it between now and the end of the meeting, we can come back to it, Ken.
It's totally up to you. Yes, sir.
We'll come back to that item. No scheduled appointments.
No, sir.
At this time, we have a public hearing to consider approval of special use permit case number 26 at SUP 12. Our public hearing is called to order. Mr. Peters, would you please read the notice?
Yes, sir. Public notice is hereby given that an evidentiary hearing will be held by the Board of Commissioners of Edgecombe County on Monday, July 6, 2026, at 6:00 p.m. in the Jonathan Felton Commissioners Room, second floor, County Administrative Building, 201 St. Andrew Street, Tarboro, North Carolina, to consider a special use permit request, case number 26-SUP 12, submitted by Crete Solutions for the operation of a burrow source / sand mine. This property is located on NC Highway 33 East, Tarboro, North Carolina, and is identified as parcel number 473649711500. Copies of the application package for the burrow source / sand mine are available for public inspection during business hours, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the County Planning Office, Room 205, County Administrative Building, 201 St. Andrew Street, Tarboro, North Carolina. All parties in interest and all interested residents are invited and urged to be present and make their views known. This the 24th day of June, 2026. By order of Board of Commissioners of Edgecombe County, signed Tammy Faison, Clerk to the Board.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. Now, let me go back just a bit. Normally we require our citizens to sign up for our public hearings and our public petitions. If there's anybody, I usually give them an opportunity to sign up before we start the meeting. Anybody here that would like to speak to the board and that has not signed up? For this public hearing, we will not be requesting you to sign up. This is a special use permit, which is a quasi-judicial matter. It will be handled different. So we will not be requiring you to sign up, but everybody that's going to speak at this one must be sworn. Moving on, Ms. Evans.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Just to give a quick summary of this process, as you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, that this is a special use permit. This is case number 26-SUP 12. This is different than your typical agenda items. As opposed to a legislative decision-making process, this is a quasi-judicial process wherein you are fact-finding and making decisions based on the facts that are presented to you. You will then apply those facts to the ordinance and make decisions on whether or not to grant or deny the application, and therefore is more formal than our typical public hearings. Once the public hearing cross-examined, and then any person who has standing will also be given the opportunity to ask the applicant questions. Once the hearing is concluded, then you all will be asked to review the evidence, using the evidence presented to review the application on the review criteria from our ordinance. There are 6 components to the review criteria. They include, number 1, that the project will not materially endanger public health or safety if located where proposed. Number 2, it complies with all required standards, conditions, and specifications of the ordinance. Number 3, it will not substantially injure the value of abutting land or the special use is a public necessity. Number 4, it will be in harmony with the area in which it is to be located. Number 5, it is in general conformity to the county's adopted policy guidance. And number 6 is subject to a concept plan that accurately depicts the proposed uses configuration. Once you conclude the hearing, you will need to take a vote on each of those 6 criteria individually, because the project has to pass all 6 criteria. Then, if provided that they do, you can entertain a motion to approve or deny the application at that point. And so just wanted to give a quick overview. You've had some other information that was shared with you by Mr. Peters earlier today. I want to thank him for that. Again, this is a more complicated process. And so we want to make sure that we hear it clearly, understand the process clearly.
And also make sure, Mr. Peters, you make sure you keep us on track in terms of that we're doing this correctly. At this time, is there anybody to speak at this public hearing? Please come forward so that you can be sworn. The applicant also. Is anybody here to represent the applicant? Please come forward. We want to swear all of you.
You come around to where you can place your hand.
This is only for the sand pit special use permit.
This is for the, this is not for, this is for the sand pit now. This is what everybody's here for. Okay, okay,
Is this you two, sir? Okay.
okay, okay.
What?
Firm is that.
Do you need to state your name individually? Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Put your left hand on the Bible and raise your right. Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give to the board in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Can we make sure that we have
Your names, please state your names. Please state your name, beginning. Would you write those down? Okay, she got your name. Okay, next, go ahead.
Marquetta Dickens.
Next,
Joanna Rutter.
okay. Gentleman in the back,
Lamb. Durden Spell.
Harris Shaw.
Tatum Eason.
Michael Blakely.
okay, we'd ask that the applicant speaks first.
First, Mr. Spell is going to.
Mr. Spells, Mr. Spells, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr.
All right, good evening. Crete Solutions LLC submitted a request to operate a sand mine borrow source operation near the intersection of NC Highway 33 East and Rattling Springs Lane in Tarboro. The proposed sand mine consists of 46.5 acre excavation area. The applicant has applied for a mining permit with the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, Division of Energy, Mining, and Land Resources, which is currently under review. The applicant also requests, pursuant to UDO Section 6.5.13C, approval of the alternative landscaping plan as provided in the areas where the type C buffer will not be planted. The areas the applicant proposes to use existing vegetation as needed that meets or exceeds the type C buffer standards in areas as allowed. Technical Review Committee, they had no comments regarding this plan. In the decision, the Board of Commissioners shall review the application and decide on one of the following in accordance with Section 2.3.20F review criteria. 1, approval of the special use and concept plan as proposed. 2, approval of a revised special use and concept plan. or 3, denial of the special use and concept plan. Also, if the plan is approved and the permit is approved, the applicant will have to then obtain the zoning and any additional permits that are needed after that. Mr. Blakely is here to present for the applicant.
Let me ask you a question. In terms of the request to use the alternative landscape, has staff done any work to determine whether that can or cannot be done?
Well, the UDO does permit for alternative landscaping to be used in situations and where if type C buffer is not practical, or in situations as the applicant will mention where that existing vegetation exists where it exceeds or meets.
My question is, we done any work to determine whether that will satisfy the UDO? Whether existing vegetation will satisfy the UDO?
With existing vegetation satisfy the UDO. Staff did go to the site visits, and from where staff did pictures, we did see the areas where the type C buffer will definitely need to be planted. However, going further on the property, staff at the time could not, go further on the property. But as you see on the site plan, that the applicant does at the moment propose a buffer that is at the moment greater than the minimum needed for type C. But they mentioned that there may be areas in which that those buffers may not be needed to be planted.
All right. Thank you. Please come forward, sir. Please state your name and address.
Michael Blakely, Drafting Design Services.
Have you been sworn, sir?
Yes, sir.
Please,
I did.
please go ahead.
Thank you. 6728 Carbonton Road, Sanford, North Carolina. Thank you for y'all's time tonight. So I'll start with the buffer requirements. So there's a lot of existing vegetation shown. And if I could I get the other set of plans up there? There's a landscaping plan in it. I don't know who's controlling that. Is it on this slide? I'm not sure. I saw it was up there. So while he's looking for that, what we did was along Highway 33, there was obviously open fields. So there was no existing vegetation. So what we've got is a plan in place to plant to the type C buffer. But with the mine permit requirements at the state level, we have to have a 50-foot minimum undisturbed buffer, whereas the ordinance calls for a 40-foot undisturbed. So we're exceeding it and planting it with a type C buffer. And then where we have existing vegetation, we're going to leave that in place, just the common sense of not tearing out vegetation to plant vegetation. And what we've done is we've set on the plan that if we have areas that do not meet that requirement, then we'll provide that type C vegetation in those gaps. So we may have trees every 30 feet or whatever, and we need them every 20. We've got proposed to add additional trees as needed. So we're not trying to get out of it. We just don't want to tear out good established vegetation in order to meet the buffer requirements. Also, with the state permit, there's a 6-foot, 50-foot wide berm required that's vegetated. So you're going to have the buffer at existing ground elevation that meets the type C requirements or exceeds. Then you're going to have a vegetated berm that's going to naturally vegetate that is also blocking visual of workings on the site. And initially, the site will be visible when they're clearing and grubbing that first layer of material. They're not going to go in there and do the whole 40 46.5 acres, they're not going to dig the whole thing at a time. What they'll do is start in one corner and then dig as they come out. They'll dig backwards where they're exiting the site out. And as they're coming out, they'll be reclamating. So essentially, I like to call these borrowed pits building a large pond. And the state requirements require you to have a 3-to-1 slope into the water down to the bottom in case somebody, some reason, climbs over the berm through the vegetation and falls in the water, they can climb back out. So while you're digging, you're doing your reclamation as you move out, and you're essentially leaving a pond. And part of the state requirements are it has to have an average depth of 4 feet. Otherwise, you're basically creating a swamp. So you want enough elevation there that it would shade out some of vegetation, and then some vegetation would come in place. That way, if you have any fish or wildlife or anything in the area. The reclamation is bonded by the state. It's an average of like $1,800 an acre. And what it does is, if the applicant goes out here, digs the whole thing and says, I'm done, and just leaves, then the state has the money with there's actually a inflation calculation with that bond where they can come back and fix the site. So the site can't just be left, incomplete. What we did with the site is we are mining all the upland area, which is basically the farm field. It's all in the floodplain, which a majority of this area is, as y'all know. But we are outside of the floodway. So therefore, we aren't required to do a flood study or any impact on flooding waters. Basically, we would just be inundated if it flooded. There wouldn't be any impact to how the tar flows currently, even in or out of its veins. What we did also in this set of plans, can I click or you can click?
Or you can just tell them, I think they'll
All
have
right.
to scroll.
Scroll down. One more. So what we did in our submittal, this is what we'll submit to the state, is we're already showing our erosion control measures. So what we'll do is we'll build temporary sediment basins that are non-outlet, non-discharge. And when we start mining down on the south end of the pit, we'll start mining in that basin and just making that basin larger and larger and larger. Therefore, the erosion from the pit is drained back to that basin, so all the sediment stays inside of the pit itself. There's no sediment that will go outside of the pit on the adjacent property or into the buffers. And you can see there the little arrowed lines are just diversions to direct the water to that pond, which the site will be ever changing. Obviously, as you dig, you'll just keep digging and keeping positive flow to the site. If you would go a couple more. All right, back one. So when I was talking earlier about the reclamation plan, that's what this is. The state requires us to show how we're going to reclamate the site, how we're going to maintain the site for the longevity of it being a large pond. You can see the dark lines around the outside. That's representing the maximum 3-to-1 slopes. And then we've got the area, the ponded area, based on analysis of water depths. The average depth of this pit is 30 to 35 feet. We may hit 45 feet in a few areas, but typically it's based on the drillings that's done. We're looking at 30 to 35 feet. And then any questions y'all may have. I know I gave you a little extra information there. But
Go ahead, Miss.
Let me see where to start. First of all, tell me exactly on 33 where this is. Looking at this, I really can't tell.
I'm not familiar enough with there is a vicinity map.
Is it outside of Princeville, inside?
Okay, go ahead. Let her.
Okay.
Please come forward, ma'am.
And she was sworn in also.
I just got to ask you, have you been sworn, ma'am?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, sir,
go
I
ahead.
have.
Go ahead.
So my name is Tatum Eason, and I'm from 5760 South Old Carriage Road in Rocky Mount. And 8 years ago this week, I purchased this property with my husband, my late husband now. And I own a topsoil and blending company in Rocky Mount where I take topsoil and I screen it and I blend it with organic matter, and it's for residential customers or commercial that purchase from me and I deliver to them. But the reason behind purchasing this property is it's not in Rocky Mount. There's not a whole lot of rocks. And I took a shovel out there myself 8 years ago, and it's great sand, but it does not grow a great crop. I also farm. So when someone says something about a sand pit, you can drive by 97 and everywhere, and a lot of folks, it scares them because it can look ugly. But I was blessed enough to meet Harris, and he has a great company, and this gentleman is great with planning, and I am huge on outdoors and aesthetics. I am a female and I love for things to look nice. So when and if this gets passed, once the pond is dug, the aftermath and the things that I have in mind for this area is for me and my daughter, but to give back also to the community, because we're obviously not going to build a house there or live there, but figure out a way to share something in the future. And when I say that, possibly have a pond that a family could go fish at, if and ever if that were to happen. But I do not want it to be an eyesore. But the property, it is off the river, and the partial that we're part of it that we're wanting to dig at is located on the higher ground. And I really would love for this to be a beautiful and an example for other projects that come to this area when it comes to the buffer. And I stressed that to Harris when we were talking about the berm that goes around and everything. So, is there any other questions?
I still don't know exactly where it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't prepared to talk tonight. Right. So as soon as you get off of 64 and you take a right on 33 highway, and there's the community college, I believe, on the left. It's right before you get to that sharp curve on the road. It's on the right-hand side of the road. And the field is laid out. I haven't grown anything in it because it's so sandy, like I said. So I've left it laid out, and I've just waited until I cross paths with the right people to put this together, because I didn't want to go out there and just start digging and make a mess of it. So I'm really appreciative that we have a good plan in place to try to go forward properly.
So how long would it take this vegetation that you're talking about to actually get to the size that's needed there? And how long it would take you to build this pit?
So,
I will let them answer that question.
so the vegetation will reach 6 feet in height, the requirement for the UDO, the ordinance, within 2 years. The berms will be immediate. So what they'll do is build the berms as they strip the topsoil, and it'll screen, what activities are going on the site. So you're going to have a 6-foot berm immediately, and then that has to be seeded and stabilized. And typically we do that with grass. So you'll get grass there, and then as fast as they grow, you'll have saplings and stuff starting to grow on those berms, because they'll be undisturbed at that point. And the total distance from the road to the inside of the berm is 100 feet. So you're going to have 50 feet of vegetation that's planted along Highway 33. Then you're going to have 50 feet of that berm that also will be planted. So you're going to have basically a double screen, basically screening the berm, and then the berm screening the activities inside the field.
Any other questions? Any questions from those of you? Go ahead. Go ahead.
How close is the nearest residence to this property?
It is right across from the entrance on the north end of the pit. Isn't that correct?
How close is that?
So on the north end of the pit, you see the dark line on the top right?
Mhm.
That property across Highway 33, there's a residence there. Go ahead,
Yeah.
I think.
Have you been sworn, sir?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Please state your name. Go ahead.
Harris Shaw, 2005 Eastwood Road, Wilmington, North Carolina. Yeah, the residence there that you're referencing, he's set back off the highway probably about 300 yards from Highway 33 there at that entrance. And we've spoke with that gentleman and had a neighborhood meeting over there with him, and he knows what's going on.
Any other questions from the board? If not, those of you that were sworn, do you have any questions for these?
Mark Lamb, I did affirm. Not to correct them, but I believe the closest residence would be the person that actually lives on the same side of the road. And that would be us. There's a little canal that separates us from this property. If you're facing this property they're discussing, we live to the left. And I just have a few additional questions if I could.
Please do.
Okay. The berm that you're discussing, will that be just on the front or will it be on the sides as well?
You want me to answer now or at the end?
Please go ahead.
Actually, you see the two outside dark lines that go around the pit. It's going to encompass the entire pit. So there'll be the only place it'll be open is the entrance where the road goes in and out.
Okay, there's existing trees if you're facing the property on the left-hand side,
They'll remain.
they will remain.
And then the ones on the north, they'll remain. And then we'll probably have to add plantings to those to meet the type C buffer requirement. And if you would go to that next slide.
This is part of what you're requesting for that to be used as berm.
Yes, yes. One more, please. One more. All right, so you see all the circles that go around? Those are proposed plantings that we're gonna have to put in because they're not there.
Now, where are you pointing to?
On the right side on Highway 33, and then on the north side where you're at. See the circles that, is there any way you can see? Yeah, right there and up and across right there.
Okay, I'm actually on the left-hand side facing.
Okay, so here you see there's across the river or
No, if you're facing the property,
you're on the left, on the side? Okay.
yes, sir, the little canal that runs
I know
through,
what you're talking
my property joins that.
about. Okay, so if you look at the bottom, see there's dark circles down there at the bottom?
Yes, sir.
We got proposed plantings there along with the property. And then
So you're
there's,
saying you're keeping the existing trees, going another 50 foot with a berm in?
right.
Okay.
Right. And then everything here in the front, you see that little triangle to the right side? That's all existing trees. This part right here, that's all existing trees. It will remain.
Okay.
And then, I think this has been cut over, but there won't be anything done with it. It'll grow back up.
When you say cut over,
Is it-
what do you?
Has it been, has the trees
No.
been cut?
No. Trees remain.
I've cut the trees and I've been waiting for assistance to plant them back because I wanted to plant them back properly, but just let them volunteer. That was
Okay,
done
again.
2 years ago.
Yeah, there's existing trees. If you're facing the property that
Right.
she owns,
Yeah.
there's existing trees on her property.
Uh-huh.
Then there's the canal, then there's mine that
Not cutting
adjoins
any more
that.
trees.
No, we're not
No
cutting.
more trees.
Okay,
I'm
you
not
said you
cutting.
had cut them, but then you,
No,
okay.
the only thing that's been cut is
So-
the old trees that needed to be.
Please come up here, ma'am. Come up here so that you can.
So no, she cut stuff at the back of her
Right,
property.
away from you.
Yes.
Okay.
So I am not cutting any more trees. The only trees that were cut were in the back of the property that had not been maintained, and I wanted uniformity, and I have a forestry plan and everything set in place to replant them. So there are not going to be any more trees cut because I like privacy just as much as you do, I promise. Yes, sir. So, and like I stressed earlier, when we do have the berm built, I would like it to be a pretty berm and nothing tacky with chain link fences and that. Yeah.
A couple more
Go ahead,
questions.
please, go right ahead, sir.
So is it a guarantee that once this is dug out, that a pond would be there?
If the good Lord lets it rain, it will be a pond there, I promise. And we need parade. Yes.
Well, I don't believe that was a guarantee, but
That's not a good answer.
I don't think that was a guarantee.
I wouldn't fill it in with anything other than the rain.
Okay.
I would not, it will not become a landfill, okay? It will not become a public dump. It is going to be wildlife, outdoors, and beautiful. I raise quail as well for a living, and I love birds, and that's what's going to be out there.
Yeah, I mean, don't misunderstand. That's great you're saying this now, but what happens in the future, not trying to cause any issue here, but I'm just saying,
That,
what would happen if you change your mind? Then we got a big old hole there. I'm just saying, ask them.
I would ask the same question,
Okay.
so you're doing the right thing. I'm Tatum Beeson.
We don't have to
Never-
say that.
never-
It's
but
good
I-
to meet you.
Nice to
Yeah.
meet you. I've never held you until now, so, any questions you have, you can ask them.
Sure.
I'm on.
So this pit will actually fill with groundwater. It won't be just dependent on rain. And to answer that question, to backfill this back to do a development or anything like that would be terribly expensive. And like she just stated, if she had plans to do a landfill or anything of that nature, it's gonna require another meeting like this for a special use or conditional zoning permit. So, like I said, the public would still weigh in if she had changed, I'm not saying she's gonna change her mind, but if she changed her mind, we would have to come back through this process again in order to develop it into something different. So, I mean, that would kind of ease your concerns that there's a checks and balances here, that when she finishes this, she said, well, I just got a bunch of stumps, I'm just gonna throw them in there. She can't do that. That's not gonna be allowed between the special use permit, cause this is a site-specific approval. So it's not like doing a typical rezoning. So if you rezone a property to R1 or R whatever it is here, then you can put whatever inside of that zoning on it. But because of what we're asking, the ordinance has in place measures that prevent people from doing an industrial or destructive site next to a neighbor. You have to go through this special process in order to get the board's approval and the public input, in order to do, and it sounds funny, to do what you want to do with your property. And that's why it's there, is to protect the neighbors. So, even if she does something different, there would be an opportunity for it to be opposed, outside of what we have proposed.
Just have one more question.
go right ahead.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
During the
Would you
time,
mind stating in the
Yes, sir.
microphone? I want to make sure that we capture it.
during the time of this construction and all, how is this gonna affect my property value before it gets to that beautiful pond?
Repeat the question again.
Sure.
Okay.
Before it gets to this beautiful pond you envision, after all the digging,
Mhm.
how's this going to affect my property value? If I decide to sell,
Yeah.
if I decide to sell 2 years down the road, and you guys are still digging next door, how's this going to affect my property value?
Yes, sir. So I'm gonna be the one that's operating the facility, so I can speak to that, what it's gonna look like from a day-to-day perspective for you and your property values. Well, one, I don't know, if your land's timbered, your house is on it, whatever.
Some of my land is timber, some is not.
Okay, so, as far as what we have going on, I don't foresee how it would affect you in a negative way. Anything, it shows that that if there's someone's pursuing your land, that there is royalties in the ground there, brings value to your property. Depending on what they're looking for, someone's looking for a home place, business, whatever they may be looking for, could vary, but I don't see how there's any negative impact to your property values during the process here.
If I can speak.
Yeah.
All I'm finding online is that once a pit of this sort comes next door, my property value is affected 10 to 30%. And if it's at the high end of that, that's huge for me, like it would be for anyone.
Yeah, and so Tatum's obviously, she's remained the landowner through this process. We are, as a partnership through here. And we as our family are landowners adjacent to other property pits and everything as well. And we have never seen any sort of decrease in any value on any sort of our property because of a pit that has come in to any sort of neighborhood. We've operated these facilities in Bladen County, Harnett County, Horry County, South Carolina. We've operated in multiple counties and still to this day own adjacent land and have had honestly increased in values because, like I mentioned, of what shows your values on that's below the surface of your land.
Okay. So again, how would it increase my property when there's a big old hole next door to me? At that point, again, before it gets to that beautiful pond, I'm not doubting she will do that, but up to that point, if I decide to sell it, you guys are digging for 5 years, ever how long it's gonna be there. I decide to sell and have to move, or decide to move in 2 years. And all this construction equipment, all this, digging, everything's right next door to me. I can't foresee it not being decreased, my property value.
Yeah, and so this isn't to make something clear here. This isn't so we're in what we call ready mix concrete. We manufacture concrete. We have a local facility here in Tarboro off Edgecombe Road. We have another facility over off of North Wesleyan Boulevard in Rocky Mountain. This facility is intended for us to have our self-supply of our raw materials for our concrete production. This isn't, and also in Tatum's topsoil blending business, this isn't a commercialized where we're going to be we're selling to ourselves. So it's not a crazy high volume traffic scenario here. So, I can't answer you to, I don't know if someone's buying you for a residential property or they're looking at it for, there's royalties in the ground there, that the adjacent property, it could vary for what the buyer's looking to buy your property for. So I think it's somewhat of an open-ended question there. But as far as that goes, the high volume of traffic, construction equipment, everything, I don't think it's quite in what you're envisioning. And I want to make that clear to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Were there any other questions from any other? Please come. There's one. Go ahead. Come on.
My name is Marquetta Dickens, and I have been sworn in. I am from a small community called Princeville, North Carolina, right downstream. I'm happy to hear that the erosion plan is in place in sediment because that's one of our biggest concerns, and it has been from quite some time. However, I do have some concerns. Board, as you know, rezoning of any kind has huge and long-term effects for our community, and I care deeply what happens to this community. And have you all rode by Martin Luther King lately with the two sand mining operations that's happening there? Are those berms that you can't supposedly see the property? Anybody seen those? Are those berms? Have you seen them by chance? Is that what we call berms? Because we can absolutely see the 30-foot drop. And that's not conducive. I wouldn't want to live beside it. And my other concern is that if it's not commercial, which means, okay, get it, not high traffic, how long is it going to take to mine 50 acres if you're only doing it for private and you're not mining it quick? Goes back to your question about property value. But again, mining of any kind is just as extractive as data centers. There's no coincidence that there's like 5 mining companies that just all of a sudden found Edgecombe County. That is not a coincidence. So after the planning meeting in Princeville, I done my research. I sat down with the engineer, especially in some some engineers and one engineer who's doing flood mitigation in Princeville right now. There are red flags in any type of mining, be it crypto mining, sand mining, whatever it is. And so for me, my questions, what I would suggest, I'm happy to hear that most of the surveys are being done, but I still not hearing some of the other surveys that I know that are required by NCDEQ and the federal level where you have to get mining. Have all of those surveys been turned in already? Or are they just not included in the agenda packet? Do you know?
I'll speak to that. He misspoke earlier. What we typically do is we submit at the local level and get those approvals prior to submitting to the state. And the reason that we have to wait to do that, we could get approval from the state and not get approval from the local. And the state mining permit specifically states that you have to have local approval prior to a mining permit being issued. So it's not that we're not trying to do it now. It's just got a process, a step of how you have to do the permitting process.
Awesome. So the permit is not what I'm asking for. But if your permit ready, you should be survey ready to turn in those to get your permit. So the same thing I'm asking for Princeville, I'm asking for the board, is that if for this particular board for the county, is that bare minimum, when you know a person is serious about what they're doing, they'll have those surveys ready. And that way you can see the results of those surveys from if it's the whatever surveys are required. Being that there's a Tar River there, most likely they're going to have to go through the Army Corps of Engineers and do a wetland delineation. So that we know for a fact that it's not going to cause any erosion or any other streaming issues downstream to my community who suffered enough. Nothing against you all, but I mean, let's be honest. We can look anywhere, just like data centers. They are extremely attractive and they are very not cute. You may be an aesthetics girl, I get it. I am too. But unless we have a concrete plan down the road, we may end up with a 35, 40-foot pit that we can't develop and put more houses on for tax basis. What can we do? It only benefits those private owners. It does not benefit us as a community. And so a question that I have, I heard the reclamation commitments, which is great. I really appreciate you all coming with that. So is the state your only backup plan in case reclamation is needed and you all of a sudden don't have operating funds anymore and it needs to be kind of put back together?
No, so the bond that's required is a cash bond that's put up by the landowner or the operator. So basically what they do is hold that money to basically as ransom for you to come back and fix us up. But they have a calculation in place that far exceeds the cost in order to fix it. So what it is it's a way to protect the community, exactly what you're asking. For if they go AWOL and decide, hey, I'm not going to do anything with the site anymore, then there's funds appropriated and they're not having to go for those people to get it. And this bond, whenever it's completed, is in the state of North Carolina name. So their name is not on it. They have to have the money available at the bank, but that money is placed under their name. So they don't even have control of that money. And it's pretty extensive. We've done a couple of reclamations and it's pretty extensive what they require. They make you meet the plan. They also go out there and inspect. And I've had a few of them that they denied it. So they had to go back and do more work. It's not an easy process to get that mine permit released. And 99% of people are motivated because you're talking, $200,000 or $300,000 bond. You're pretty motivated to get your money back. You don't want to leave that. It's not like a few $1,000s. You're motivated to return your bond.
But my question is that I'm in construction,
Right.
construction management and all of that. Retention and all of that is not fun.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
But my question is, okay,
Could you speak more
Sorry.
closely on the microphone?
let's say you don't abandon. You just kind of slow walk the process.
So there's requirements that they have to meet in order to meet the SUP. So that's the whole purpose of these buffers and the berms. And when you're speaking to other sites, maybe they don't have them built correctly. And some of the sites, the older sites, didn't require that. So
The sites I'm speaking of are like a year old
a year old.
in this same community.
And I can't speak to whether their plan showed that or had it. We typically do this because we know that it is a concern for the neighbors and the citizens that they don't want to ride by looking at the operations going on. So that's why we place it this way. And the state has requirements also, but the state prefers it. One of the other questions I just wanted to touch on.
Sir, I'm sorry.
Okay, is it not? Okay.
Just want to make sure we're picking up.
So the surveys that you're asking for is a requirement of the state permit. So really, this is really the baby stages of the process. We got to get through the local approvals because this is honestly is where we're going to see our opposition. So if we have people that are a reason or people that are being negatively impacted by the site, we find that out now and we don't spend that time getting through that permitting process, the cost of doing the surveys, the cost of doing all the permitting. So that will be done because that's got to be done. It's got to be required. And it'll happen because the state level is going to require it.
I will suggest to the board that those surveys that he's talking about are completed before permitting so you can see not what people say, but the factual results of that, especially since it has to be done to go to the next level anyway. Otherwise, people can tell you what they want, they can tell you what they assume, but if you don't go that next step and that next study, and who's to say that the study comes back and the state say absolutely not? And now you all have put forth a plan to say, yeah, and the state's like, no, now y'all look like y'all don't know what y'all talking about because you went on and approved something without studies to verify the facts that are being stated. You get where I'm coming from? So that's just some of my concerns. And I get you, but when you come into a community and you're investing in that community, you should be okay with providing those studies, especially an extractive type of mine operation like this. You should be okay with providing those surveys up front if you're already planning on doing that long term anyway. Otherwise, if it's rezoned, not saying that you all, a property owner can resell it. And the next person can do what they want in terms of, well, maybe a little different because it's special zoning. But if they get it specially rezoned, they can resell it. They don't have to go through with it. And now it's rezoned without the studies, without the plans, and without all of those things in place from the original applicants. So that was another one of my concerns. Are there any independent studies that demonstrate that there will be no adverse impact to nearby homes, roads, infrastructure, groundwater, or drinking water?
No, we haven't been asked to provide that.
I'll ask the board and the planning board to ask for those things, so that we know and we're not going on assumptions, but we're going on facts. The last question that I have is actually for the board. One of the requirements is general plan consistency. I had the pleasure of reading Edgecombe County's comprehensive land use plan. It's actually a pretty brilliant one, and I actually really love it. And maybe I read it wrong, but I would love for someone on the board or administration to point me where in that comprehensive land use plan that we support sand mining. That's one of the 6 requirements for quasi-judicial points. One of the 6 standard quasi-judicial points.
Would that be appropriate for everyone to respond to?
He can.
That'd be fine. Eric, would you mind responding to that? What our ordinance says related to sand mining?
Not the ordinance, the comprehensive land use plan. You all have a comprehensive land use plan.
Yes, our comprehensive land use plan was done back in 2014. There's a number of uses that plan doesn't address: sand mines, solar farms, data centers. But it's a plan that sets out what the general feel of certain areas, character of the area should be. But like I said, there's uses that wasn't, available or around during that time, in which, we're dealing with now, and which therefore, when the next update of comprehensive plan comes out in a few years, some of these new land uses, definitely will be we'll take a look at addressing. And as far as what you were mentioning about providing as far as approved plans from the state.
Not
As
as
far-
plans, just the survey.
Well,
before it gets
surveys.
to that point.
Well,
That
we
our planning board can actually mandate and ask for these type of projects. We can ask for surveys. We can set our minimum of what we ask for when we have people come in and want to do development on our communities.
yes.
Which will hopefully be addressed in the new land use plan. But
Mhm.
on record, right now, it is not in our comprehensive land use plan
Yes.
at all.
Yes, and it's not in our ordinance. However, before any mining or land disturbance activity take place, the applicant does have to provide approved state mining permit prior before getting the zoning permit approval for the mine.
Gotcha. So for the mine, but not from the council.
I'm
I'm
sorry, that-
confused. So you
No.
said for the, he'll have to get it from the state, the mining
So-
comes from the state, right?
So, okay, so this is the first step in getting the special use permit. So, assuming the special use permit is approved, then the next step, they will have to get zoning approval from the county. And as part of the zoning approval, they will have to provide a copy of the approved mining permit from the state.
Gotcha. So I'm still a little confused.
Which would
So-
include those studies. We would have to do those to get the money.
So you still have to get it rezoned first. So
So the special use permit,
Special permit.
yeah, that's the first step.
Sorry, I keep using rezoning, wrong. So the special use permit happens first.
That's right.
Are not allowed to ask for those surveys during that initial process before going to the next step.
So right now, our
Because you
UDO,
already gave them, now you've already given them permission.
so right now, our UDO does not request that, but however, our UDO is a living document and we could make adjustments to it whenever, and you know, that's something you feel like we need to address, you can, that's something I'm sure that we can take a look at.
Yeah, because again.
At
like
the
you
present
said-
time, we
Okay,
will be dealing with what the UDO says that we can do now.
perfect.
That is what we will be dealing with, what this UDO. And there is a request before this board to consider that based on the facts presented here today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So that, again, just keeping in mind that it's not in our current land use plan.
And since it is not there, it is not something that I believe, of course, let our attorney speak here.
Well, the current UDO does not require those surveys.
Okay?
I'm talking about the current land use.
And I'm speaking about what we're dealing with. What we are dealing with is the UDO, and the attorney says it does not require that.
Gotcha. What we're also dealing with, if I'm not mistaken, is also a quasi judicial, right?
That's exactly,
Quasi-judicial,
that's
and
exactly
it has
right.
to be six-
Based on the facts that you put in the record.
Yes, from the 6 standards, right? Criteria.
Yes,
What
exactly.
I'm speaking on is one of those 6 criteria that's talking about the comprehensive land use plan. And I'm stating that right now, sand mining is not in agreement with our current land use plan. It may be later, but as of right now, as today, it is not. That's all I'm stating. But I'm also stating in 2014, you all created an amazing plan. It's great. And if we can all come together and stick to that land use plan, we will have less distracted folks coming in our community and we can actually build something together. Thank you.
But I add a point on the
Please do.
the land use plans are a guide to development that y'all set forward. The land use plan can change based on an approval. In fact, it's required. When it's rezoned, then the land use plan is supposed to be updated to that new type use for that area. So it automatically updates. Typically it's stated in the approvals. I didn't hear it in this stuff, but that says that it is not in compliance with the land use plan. However, the land use plan will be updated based on the decision of the board. So we're not leaving that land use plan hanging out there. Y'all have the right to make an immediate decision on the adjustment of that land use plan based on the project that's presented for that particular parcel. And one thing that we could add to our application, which that's part of the quasi judicial, is if it's the pleasure of the board, they could add conditions that we have to supply the county with those surveys. We could add that as a condition. Also that, the timing on it, we can do it when we do it for the mine permit, but it would be something that we'd have to require before we got our zoning compliance. So right now we're doing our rezoning, and then what Mr. Spell was talking about is our zoning compliance, which is what you would do with a commercial site. So we would design a commercial site. If it was already zoned, we would skip this step and we would do a design, which we have done, and submit that. And then the staff would approve it. And if it doesn't meet the ordinance or the conditions y'all set for tonight, then we have to provide that information. So that just gives you another tool to show the community that we're willing to apply conditions to it and provide that information if y'all see fit. We just can't provide it tonight because we can't do it in 5 seconds.
Any other questions from any other members?
I have one.
Go right ahead.
Is this something that went through the planning board?
Yes.
No, ma'am. All special use permits go straight to the Board of Commissioners.
No, I kept looking for whether they approved it or anything. I could find it.
The special use permits are approved by this board. Any other comments or questions? Mr. Peters, you got anything that you need to say?
Well, have we, just to be clear, the applicant maybe have something else?
Does the applicant have any other comments or questions to make? Does the applicant?
I got one more comment to address some of your concerns. So we didn't just find.
Address the board, please.
Sorry. Okay. So we didn't just find Edgecombe County. We've been operating in business in here since 2018, and come into we acquired a business back then, and have come in. I myself have spent a substantial amount of time here, involving myself in the community, doing things with different foundations and all sorts of stuff, being active here as a local business. And so I just wanted to make that clear. We didn't just find it here. We enjoy doing business here. We've created over 25 jobs here in Nash and Edgecombe County with our operations here. And we look forward to continuing doing more business here. And, it's the reason why she made the comment about people finding Edgecombe County with sand mine operations. If you look at natural deposits, what required to go into ready mix concrete for our product, it requires natural sand, and you can't just find it anywhere. And so there's a value to that, to the landowners, to the community here. And so it's something that you have to be in a certain geological area for that to happen. And so one thing, to talk about building houses and taxpaying dollars, it helps control the costs. We're not having to truck it in from other markets, so it helps keep business in the local economy here.
Any other comments from anybody else? Hearing none. Mr. Peters, go ahead. Please come forward.
Hey there, Joanna Rudder. I've been sworn in. I just wanted to speak on behalf of the Tar River and just been researching, looking at this special use permit because I hadn't seen it before, and learning a bit about the sand industry, that it's the second most exploited resource in the world, that it is a massive global issue. I'm looking at the World Economic Forum. Sand mining has tripled in the past 2 decades, with demand reaching 50 billion tons a year in 2019. This is just something for Edgecombe County to keep their eye on. If this is an industry that's going to keep coming here because of the Tar River sand deposits. I know we've been talking a lot about the agriculture plain versus the wetland. We know that as flooding and climate change impacts will continue to impact the coastal plain. As a student who studies environmental justice and policy, just kind of threw up a red flag for me looking at this and thinking about different species that will be impacted on the Tar River, and how sand extraction contributes to downstream erosion. It weakens different ecosystems, and it's just something to keep in mind as you look at this. I'm looking at the there's a as I've been kind of Googling here, it just looks like there's a United Nations Environmental Program report that came out about sand and sustainability and connects sand to all 17 of the Sustainable Development Goals. So as you're considering this and thinking about what kind of industry you want to bring to Edgecombe County, this is a obviously pretty self-contained local business, local buyer, local owner. I see that system, but considering how Edgecombe and the Tar River Basin, since our river keeper isn't here, I just thought I'd speak on behalf of the Tar River.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Thank you. Mr. Peters, did you have?
No, sir. Just to reiterate, I think as the board's aware, you've been through several of these in the last few years, but this is different. This is not a rezoning. This is not a legislative hearing. This is a special use quasi judicial hearing to consider a special use permit application, and those 6 review criteria are what's to be considered. You're to consider the competent material, substantial evidence related to those 6 review criteria. And we, as you mentioned earlier, Mr. Chairman, after your discussion, when you're ready to proceed, you would take a vote on each of the 6 so that we know how the board decides before either approving or denying the application.
Any comments from the board?
Question about conditions.
Go right ahead.
Is it now when we discuss conditions, or would that be what?
Yes, sir. I think that'd be fine.
Okay. Because it sounded like the owners were willing to give us a condition on the surveys and the water, specific to the water questions and drinking water. Could we make that a conditional, or as a condition of the approval?
Could I suggest, Commissioner, that we clarify exactly what we're talking about, if the applicant would mind?
Honestly, that's why I wanted to ask the question of what are we willing to condition there?
Yes, we'll provide the surveys, and we'll provide that at the zoning compliance, with the site plan approval. We're willing to do that. We're gonna have to do, a wetland study. We'll more than likely, well, I think we've already done part of the water table study to see where we're at as far as the water table elevation. And then we will also provide all of the state permit information back. So whenever we submit to the state, this project goes out to all the divisions of the state. We get comments from the Historic Society, comments from the wetlands people. We get comments from wildlife. They always want us to put fish in it. That's their only comment. Then we also get comments from the Army Corps. They all look at that as part of our permit submittal. So we do not mind providing that information, as part of that zoning compliance submittal. We could do that. Definitely. We just didn't want to reiterate. It's not we didn't want to do it, but we didn't want to come tonight and y'all say, hey, we don't even like this. And then we did all these studies for nothing, because it's not going to mean anything to y'all in this decision for this type of request, I should say. And one thing I would add is we typically ask for the pit, the full area. That's the ultimate pit. It can't be any larger. And if those studies show that there's wetlands going inside the pit, we will adjust the pit, which can be done at a staff level, because we're doing less than what we ultimately asked for, if that makes sense.
Commissioner, I would just suggest that if we're going to have other conditions, that we be clear to name what those surveys or permits are, so that staff can determine later whether that condition's been satisfied.
As part of the rezoning
Well,
process.
I think this would be the time to,
That's what
special use
this.
permit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you require? I'm sorry. Do you require a response from me? I can agree, or I can say yes to.
I guess this is the problem I have with these hearings is we're asked to do this and I don't know anything about wetlands permits. Can we table it so that we can condition those things till the next meeting?
But it's not actually a permit. It's just requiring the survey. You basically do as a condition all of the requirements of the state mining permit, that we have to provide that to the county.
But what would,
That may be a simpler way to do it.
okay, state to us the conditions that you're willing to give us.
We're willing to provide always all surveys and studies required by the state mining permit process to the county prior to zoning compliance approval.
The only one I haven't heard that I think is a valid study is the drinking water. Is that a part of that process? Is drinking water study? Is there a survey study that surveys?
No, there's a permit that's required if you do dewatering, I think, and because we're in an aquifer here, that we have to submit to the state. So that would be part of the mine permit.
You think that's,
What I heard was provide all surveys and studies required by the state to the county at the zoning determination. Is that?
Yes, yes,
that is what you're submitting
yes,
as
sir.
conditions?
Yes, sir.
And that zoning confirmation, that's done at Durbin's level?
That's done at the planning board staff, right?
Staff level.
Staff level, okay.
So he has a checklist that has to be checked, all of those things, all those.
Any other questions from any of the board? Hearing none. Now we're prepared to deal with the review criteria. Would there be a motion that, number one, that this request would not materially endanger the public health or safety if located where proposed? Do I have a motion to approve that? The chair moves. Do I get a second?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
That passes 6-1. Number two criteria, this complies with all required standards, conditions, and specifications of this ordinance. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
That motion passed 6-1. Number three, will not substantially injure the value of the abutting land or the special use and a public use is a public necessity. Do I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Hearing none, it passes 5-2. Number four will be in harmony with the area in which it is to be located. Do I get a motion? The chair moves. Do I get a second?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
How many? Let it be known by, all in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Therefore, all opposed? That passes 4-3. Number five is in the general conformity with the county's adopted policy guidance. Is there a motion? Chair, second? The chair seconds. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Passes 6-1. Number six is subject to a concept plan that actually depicts the proposed uses of the configuration. And I would say based on, as it is noted, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second? Chair seconds. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Hearing none, it passes 6-1. With all of the review criteria approved, my motion would be what, Mr. Peters?
That you approve the special use permit application.
Is there a motion to approve the special use?
With the noted, thank you, Mr. Evans.
Is there a motion to approve the special use permit with the noted conditions?
So moved.
Let it have a motion. Do I get a second?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-1. The special use permit is approved.
Mr. Wiggins, we do have I believe staff, anticipation that this may be denied or approved, prepared, proposed orders. So I believe, Mr. Evans, do you have that proposed order? Yes. So you have proposed.
Y'all can wait a minute. Hey, you need to wait. We ain't through with this yet.
They don't have the additional.
Yeah, we can, we'll bring you a proposed order at the next meeting so that we can.
It's an order that we have to also, it's an
More
additional.
accurately include the conditions noted.
Okay,
And then you can consider that at your next meeting.
good enough, okay.
We prepare, or staff does, basic approval and denial so that we can be expeditious, but,
Okay,
they're more-
it's an order that we need to approve, but we have approved the use of it, okay?
Being that you added the condition, yes.
Being
sir,
that we
we'll
added
need to
the conditions,
revise it. Yes, sir.
the order was not complete because we added conditions to it.
Yes,
We had an order if we refused it, or in this case, we passed it, and that order was prepared, but the order is incomplete because you added conditions to your request that we approved. We will deal with that at our next meeting. Is that correct? Okay, all right.
So for clarity, you're addressing the conditions.
Well, it's been addressed, but it's the document to sign.
It's a
Paper order is not ready.
It's just that the order would be what we have approved, okay? Okay.
So we'll need to attend the next meeting for that, or?
Well, it's for you. If you be absent, don't tell them what we do if you absent, okay? Okay. Okay.
If it's been approved, can he just sign it?
Well, we have to approve the order. He says we have to approve the
It
order.
doesn't have the
We
conditions.
gotta
That-
approve
that-
the conditions, put the conditions on it, technically. All right,
And
We have to do what our attorney said
You mean-
on this, okay?
And the order will be consistent
Yeah.
with the action that you took tonight.
One thing that we could do, we as a board, could we authorize him to sign it outside of this meeting?
I would suggest not. I would suggest that we wait until we get the order and the language of the order. I don't like signing nothing that you have pre-approved. I will do what the board says, okay? But I suggest that we review that document and deal with it at that time. That's what I was suggesting, and the board can require me to do something else. Anything else to come? The next public hearing, let me get back to the agenda here. The next,
You're good.
that's the minutes, okay. The street name change, I'm looking for my agenda here.
This will be public hearing number 2.
Public hearing number 2, yeah, right here. Public hearing to approve, hearing call to consider approving road renaming case 26-SND2. Public hearing is called to order. Mr. Peters, would you please read the public notice?
Yes, sir. Public notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Board of Commissioners of Edgecombe County on Monday, July 6, 2026 at 6:00 p.m. in the Jonathan Felton Commissioners Room, second floor, County Administrative Building, 201 St. Andrews Street, Tarboro, North Carolina, to consider and act upon case number 26-SN01, a request for a street naming. The proposed street will be located off Batts Chapel Road, State Road 1533, Tarboro in Township 4. The street will be within parcel number 483078929800. The applicants, Thaddeus Winstead and Lisa Winstead, request to name their driveway, quote, JT Winstead Lane. Copies of a map showing the location of this lane are available for public inspection during business hours, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the County Planning Office, Room 205, County Administrative Building, 201 St. Andrews Street, Tarboro, North Carolina. All parties and interests and all interested residents are invited and urged to be present and make their views known this the 23rd day of June 2026 by order of the Board of Commissioners of Edgecombe County. Signed, Tammy Faison, Clerk to the Board.
Ms. Evans?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to call forward Mr. Spell again, and he will give you an overview of this application.
Thank you. All right, so Thaddeus and Lisa Winstead are requesting to name their driveway JT Winston Lane. The planning board voted unanimously to forward the street naming request to the Board of County Commissioners with a recommendation of approval. Technical Review Committee, they had no comments regarding this application. After the conclusion of the meeting, public meeting, the Board of Commissioners shall review the application and decide one of the following in accordance with Edgecombe County Code of Ordinance, Section 20-37, naming roads and assignment of new addresses. 1, approve street naming request. 2, denial of street naming request. Or 3, remand the application to the planning board for further consideration. The applicant is here if y'all have any questions for them.
Would the applicant like to speak?
Good evening. I'm Thad Winstead. This is my wife, Lisa Winstead. Like I said, we own the property on Bass Chopper Road. We're currently building a home out there. We live in Tarver right now. I'll give you a little history, right, if I can.
Yes, sir. It's your time.
Our son was tragically killed in a car accident on June 3rd, 2021, with 3 of his friends in Greenville. A big truck came across the median and hit him head on. It's been our goal to keep his memory and his name alive, and we can't think of a better way to do it than in our new home to have our driveway named after him. A little nervous. So I would appreciate your consideration on doing this. If you have any questions for us.
I don't see, but which one is your preference, JT's or JT Winston? Which one was, I didn't see which one was recommended.
JT Winston Lane.
JT Winston Lane?
They had a discrepancy, I think. They had
Okay.
another lane named JP or something. So we went with the whole name.
Sir, I think we'd be honored to honor your request. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Yes, sir.
I got 7 motions and 7 seconds. Huh? Well, this is gonna be done, anybody that speak against it? If so, don't come up. Because I think we've already done that one, okay? We can't take that one back, okay? And frankly, I don't want to hear from you, but I got to. Okay, is that right, Mrs. Peters?
I expect it'll be brief.
Okay. Hearing no objections from the public, I did request it, didn't I?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Question.
Questions? Okay.
Who would be responsible for maintaining this roadway?
It's actually just gonna be a driveway. So
Private
Driveway.
lane.
Yes, sir.
Private lane.
Uh,
So the county would have no stake in it, sort of.
No, sir.
Thank you.
And we would maintain.
Any other questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All
Did
of-
get a motion in a second.
I didn't get a second. I got this.
I got 7 motions and 7 seconds.
Take whoever you want.
Put my name down.
I got something that everybody was unanimous on. Okay, for the first time that I've been here. Any other? I did get we did. It is so done, sir. Planning board will move
Thank you so
forward.
much.
Whatever.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep your head up.
I'm gonna slow myself down. I'm gonna do this one a little better. Public hearing number 3. Our public hearing is called to order. Mr. Peters, would you please read the public notice?
Yes, sir. Public notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Board of Commissioners of Edgecombe County on Monday, July 6, 2026 at 6:00 p.m. in the Jonathan Felton Commissioners Room, 2nd floor, County Administrative Building, 201 St. Andrews Street, Tarboro, North Carolina, to consider and act upon case number 26-SN02, a request for a street naming. The proposed street will be located off Melton Road, State Road 1226, Rocky Mount in Township 12. The street will be within parcel numbers 378917684000 and then 378918078200 and 378908202700. The applicant, FHG Properties LLC, requests to name their driveway, quote, Quiet Waters Lane. Copies of a map showing the location of this lane are available for public inspection during business hours, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the County Planning Office, Room 205, County Administrative Building, 201 St. Andrews Street, Tarboro, North Carolina, All parties in interest and all interested residents are invited and urged to be present and make their views known. This is the 23rd day of June, 2026, by order of the Board of Commissioners of Edgecombe County. Signed, Tammy Faison, Clerk to the Board.
Ms. Evans?
I'd like to call back Mr. Spell to give you an overview of the application and the planning board's action.
Thank you. All right, the applicant FHG Properties has submitted a request to name their proposed driveway Quiet Waters Lane. The planning board voted unanimously to forward the street naming request to the Board of County Commissioners with a recommendation of approval. The only comment from our technical review committee, environmental health, had a comment that that an application for a septic system was applied for and approved. The Board of Commissioners shall review the application and decide one of the following in accordance with Edgecombe County Code of Ordinances, Section 20-37, naming roads and assignment of new addresses. 1, approve the street naming request. 2, denial of the street naming request. Or 3, remand the application to the planning board for further consideration. The applicant is here if you have any questions.
Would the applicant like to speak?
I'll keep it brief. My wife and I are doing this to put a house on the back of a farm. We're both Edgecombe County natives. We currently reside in Raleigh full-time, but spend a significant amount of time here in Rocky Mountain. So happy to answer any questions.
Any call for public comments. If anybody would like to speak, please come forward and state your name and address for the public record. Does anybody like to speak? If not, the public hearing is closed. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It is so named. Yes, sir. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, is public petitions. For anybody that has signed up, the clerk will call your name. Please come forward and state your name and address for the public record. Madam Clerk, would you please call? We require you to stay to 3 minutes. This is the one that we ask you to stay to 3 minutes.
My name is Vincent Bridgers. I reside at 1209 Chauncey Drive in Tarboro. I hope y'all will be patient with some of my comments. I actually thought that y'all were going to vote on the proposed data center site, either to sell it or to vote on whether it would be approved. And I'm going to go on and read my comments, but I understand that you're not going to vote on it tonight. As I said, my name is Vincent Bridges. I have lived in Edgecombe County 71 of my 76 years. I probably have, like most of you, made some mistakes in my life. We have all used the term, hindsight is an exact science. Commissioners, I hope 6 months or a year from now, you are saying I should have voted against the data center. But hindsight is an exact science. Who is in favor of a data center? The developer, of course. He stands to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Will Edgecombe County benefit? Maybe we could reduce our tax rate a small amount, but is it worth taking away water resources we need so badly? Is it worth polluting the air from the emissions that come from these facilities? Is it worth the strong possibility of our electrical rates going up? Just this past weekend, communities in Northern Virginia had to request the data centers to go to their backup generators. There was not enough electricity. Have you ever tried to sleep in a room at 80 degrees and then get up at 6 a.m. and go to work? It's not easy. This can happen here. The Tar River is at a historical low. Our groundwater is being depleted now. Do we want a data center that will only make this situation worse? I urge you to halt any and all possibilities for a data center in Edgecombe County. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Next.
Joanna Rutter.
Hello, thank you. Joanna Rutter, 308 East Commerce Street, Oak City. So I want to talk about the top two recommendations from the report. The number one is obviously the ban, big B word, ban. I wanted to, in case y'all haven't reached out to them or talked to them, Clay County is the only other county other than Edgecombe. If y'all were to pass a ban, Clay County did it first. They did it in January. I was reading the ordinance. It's kind of interesting because there's none other like it in North Carolina. But they passed the ordinance in January against any data center larger than 2 megawatts. The megawattage, acreage, there's kind of different ways that you can put caps on these sites. I thought 2 megawatts was extremely rigorous of a choice. I've seen 10, I've seen 25. 25, I think, is the one in the House bill that's going around right now. But yeah, just wanted to call that out. I called the county manager and said, hey, have you had any mean old developers sue you about that? And didn't hear back from them. But I encourage you to reach out to them and discuss that because they are a county who has successfully implemented a full ban via an ordinance. So we do have like precedent around that. So because I know that that's scary. I was writing down what are some barriers to these bans. I know state preemption is terrifying. Downzoning is kind of a question mark. A certain litigious developer who shall not be named, lest he also sue me. And the optics of appearing anti-business to other industries. I understand that those are some of the primary concerns about weighing a ban versus a de facto ban through UDO amendments. But I really want to encourage y'all to prioritize a ban over UDO amendments because it removes all ambiguity of the county's stance toward AI data centers. It prevents harmful industry taking root here. It prevents getting lost in the sauce of UDO details. It's a bit more efficient. And I think it's a bold, pro-public move for governance where Edgecombe can be number 2 on a list for a cool reason instead of a bad reason. Number 2 recommendation is the kind of updating the UDO to restrict data centers who are bad actors. Our group stands behind the rigorous changes that Renee Anderson proposed in the appendix of the report, especially on removing the exemption for M2 zones that were amended in November, limiting off-the-grid power generation, adding requirements to water consumption plans, and further restricting noise levels. These measures are no nonsense and will also scare away 99% of the bad AI folks. There's still that 1%. We don't love that. I also recommend, so I was digging into the UDO, looking at what other cities and municipalities around North Carolina and other areas have done. Tucson, Arizona has some interesting stuff. But, okay, I ran out of time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sherry Redditch. Hello, my name is Sherry Redditch. I'm here today to support the recommendation of your Data Center Advisory Committee to ban data centers in Edgecombe County. The citizens of Edgecombe County have made our position clear. We support this ban because it reflects the committee's careful review and recommendations and protects the long-term interest of our community. Given the committee's findings and the strong public support for this measure, I respectfully ask, why are you not taking a stand to support the ban that your own advisory committee has recommended and that so many of your constituents have requested? I've made this statement not using ChatGPT. Therefore, I have not used a data center.
Kevin Wilson.
Kevin Wilson, 3767 Howard Avenue in Tarboro, Edgecombe County. The wheels of justice turn very slowly. We've heard this all our lives. And for the last year now, I've been involved in this epic situation we're in Edgecombe County with data centers, because it started in Tarboro last July, and I was involved in it then. A lot of citizens have now expressed opinions through petitions, through surveys that the county has put out there. They've come to meetings. Several of us in the Edgecombe Neighbors for Data Center Accountability Group have traveled all over the state now, talking to other citizens in other communities about what they are dealing with in terms of data centers. We've seen and we've heard what has happened when they've come in. We've seen the turmoil that takes place when one comes in unannounced, or seemingly unannounced because of backdoor or closed door sessions and deals that get made. The phrase, wheels of justice turn slow, is also finished up with a part that not many people really ever read, and that is, but they grind fine. What that means is the right answer comes across with justice that's fair and equitable to all the persons involved. And as our group has done this work, we've worked with the advisory board and we've submitted these things. We hope that you will do with expedited efficiency, look through all that information and come to a conclusion that will be fair and equitable to the county, and that is to ban data centers in Edgecombe County. Thank you.
Marquetta Dickens. All right, it's me again. I'm gonna be under 3 minutes this time.
Well, hey, welcome back.
But I'm back again because I care deeply about this county. I did not stop all that I was doing to move back here to not speak up and to not be engaged and not to care about the long-term development of this county. As Eric has already mentioned, we are bottom 5. So we're at the bottom of a lot of lists. And as Joanna has mentioned, we can be at the top for something important. We can be the leaders of something, right? And please believe that you have the same way we can have an advisory board to talk about how to keep away the bad things. We can have the same advisory board to talk about how we can bring in the good things. How can we have different type of development that is not extractive of our community? One of the, again, our state, local, place-based economic development is how you circle your dollars. Big ag, sand mining, all of those things profit the company, where we get minimal benefits. I'll give you chicken farms for an example. We have chicken farms, we have the chicken houses. How much of that money actually comes back here versus Smithfield or Tyson or whoever else? Yes, we get money for the building value. We get the scraps every single time these big industries come in our community. We get the pennies, we get the straps. But when we build local businesses, when we build small businesses, when they purchase things, when their profits come in, those profits stay in our community. They don't leave and go to the headquarters or wherever these big folks are going to be. Again, environmental is very important to me as well. Princeville is not the only community that floods in Edgecombe County. That's flooding. But we also have to talk about droughts and water. What does that mean for our water? We're talking about cool and closed loops. I just tagged Commissioner Harris in something today that talked about closed loops. And the last time I came here, we talked about what happened in Ohio where that wastewater would go. I hope we all consider those things. I hope you consider the ban and listen to the community who put you here. I think the community has also spoken that if you don't listen to the community that put you here, we have no issue. We're also voting you out. And that's not a threat. That's for you to really consider and just reacclimate yourself with how you got here and who you're here to serve. That is us, the people, not the big companies. I promise you, your community will have your back in figuring out other ways that we can bring in industry. We're here. Nobody still reached out to me, but I'm still here and I'm still doing the work. We got to do it. I'm not going nowhere. I'm here forever. That's my 3 minutes. Thank you.
Crystal Wims Anderson.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Crystal Wims Anderson. I reside in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, in District 7. And normally, you guys know I'm always advocating for something, especially when I find out something. So, as my last time coming before you as a private citizen, just what I say now, it's my beliefs, and it still will be my beliefs once I become a public figure. So, again, thank you for allowing me to speak. I'll try to be quick and read everything I have. So, as I prepare to take the oath of office as a newly elected member of the Edgecombe County School Board of Education, I come before you not to advocate for myself, but to advocate for the long-term strength of this institution and for those who will serve long after my term has ended. I respectfully ask that the Board of Commissioners consider reviewing the compensation provided to the members of the school board. Education is the foundation of economic development. Every business we hope to attract, every industry we seek to grow, and every workforce initiative we pursue begins with the quality of education our children receive. Before we can recruit employers, we must prepare students. Before we can strengthen our economy, we must strengthen the leadership that governs our schools. School board members, they carry a significant responsibility, as I'm seeing over time. They oversee millions of taxpayer dollars, establish district policies, hire and evaluate the superintendent, make decisions affecting thousands of students, employees, and community members. They attend trainings, they work after hours. Those responsibilities extend way beyond their monthly meetings and often require evening, weekends, and countless hours of preparations, just as y'all's role does. Yet, despite these responsibilities, compensation remains largely unchanged for many years. Unlike several other elected officials, school board members do not receive health benefits, even though the demands of the position continue to grow. This is not about making public service profitable. Public service is and should remain a calling. However, compensation should never become a barrier to service. If we want to attract educators, healthcare professionals, veterans, business leaders, young professionals, working parents, and individuals with diverse expertise to seek elected office, we must recognize that many simply cannot afford to dedicate the time required without fair compensation. As many experienced board members across North Carolina approach retirement, succession planning is very important. It becomes increasingly important. We should ask ourselves whether our current compensation structure encourages the next generation of community leaders to step forward. I respectfully ask that you review when the last stipend adjustment was made, compare our compensations with neighboring counties, and consider whether today's expectations of school board service are adequately reflected in today's compensation. An investment in educational leadership is not an expense. It's an investment in student success, workforce readiness, economic development, and the future of Edgecombe County. I appreciate your partnership with the board and thank you for your consideration. Together, we have an opportunity to ensure that the leadership guiding our schools is as strong as and sustainable as the future we envision. And anybody knows me know that I would do anything for free. But just thinking about the future of who's coming along once our school board members retire.
All right. Madam Clerk?
That's the last person that signed up.
Hearing no others, that ends our public petition. We'll move on. Let's take about a
Mr. Chairman, could I make mention, because I want to make sure those that are here with interest
Go ahead.
data centers don't miss it. Just as a note, later on the agenda under the manager's report, I do have an update regarding
Go ahead and
the
do that
project.
update.
You want to do that now?
Go ahead and do
Okay.
that update. Okay.
So just for just give background for those who may not be familiar, the one project that had advanced with interest in Edgecombe County for a data center was a project submitted by Energy Storage Solutions. This is one that presented one to the town of Tarboro and one to the county. They had made an offer to purchase on 28 acres of land, also requested an option on 100 acres of land adjacent at Kingsborough Industrial Park. The board had some discussion about that publicly in these open meetings. At some point, the board, you did direct staff that you were going to pause any consideration because you had two things that you needed. Number one, you wanted to see that they had the financing secured to do the project. Number two, we had some questions, which I put together a list of questions submitted to the company. So essentially, the project has been paused on our behalf, dormant to some degree on their side, no movement on it. Just recently, I did receive communication from Mr. Daniel Schaefer, one of the principals of the company, noting that they want to withdraw consideration of the project from the county. And that again being for the purchase of the land as well as the option to purchase the adjacent parcel at Kingsborough. And so they're withdrawing the project, that request from the county. There was a deposit that was put down on for the offer to purchase. Would recommend if there's consensus from the board that we return that deposit.
So move.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the vote sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none, you can return that.
All right. So that, just for the public to know, that project is officially off the table for consideration for the board. So,
Mhm. And that's for our acreage.
yes, sir.
Any other comments from the board? Hearing none, moving on.
Do you want to take a break now?
Well, let's take about a 5 minutes recess right here. Okay.
I don't know if you can speak. What's my name?
Well, I'll give you, you can speak when we come back, sir. You can speak. I'll let you speak. You can, didn't mean to miss you. Okay, okay.
Yeah, he said nice things about me.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
What's your name, sir? What's your name?
I'm calling an advocate.
Yeah, we see it now.
Okay, I appreciate you.
Well, if we didn't find it, we'll let you speak anyway. Okay, so.
We had you down talking about sand.
Always.
Actually, the thing that you think about will take a long time.
I think we've mentioned, you've mentioned.
It's called style, George.
Got a cut to school in the school program. She want to read before she get it. She want to read before she get it.
When she found out what it was.
What, about $200 something? And that's not money. Yeah, is it? They didn't have a request. They supposed to request it. She asked in the wrong board.
Yep. So we can't respond to what we don't know.
That's right.
How about that socialized one day?
Keep straight on what we pay.
You're waiting for somebody.
Well, I saw the questions. Those I just stay away from.
Like
Who was somebody asking today?
Huh? Where did the power go?
She might be a few minutes.
She usually get here late. Now she done left. That's what it is. Oh,
We can start.
Uh-huh.
It might be a little.
I can't stop her to get it. She went outside.
Yeah, I mean, she might be 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah, please. Oh, she left.
Somebody to come be punched.
Okay, then maybe we had to wait for two now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is why we shouldn't take breaks.
Wait, no.
Nobody wants to watch the soccer match.
You know, we have a long meeting.
This one was supposed to be short. We had a long meeting 2 weeks ago, a week ago.
Well, anytime we got public hearings, we don't know where it's going. Mr. Thorne said I got to start. Oh, Mr. Bottom. Where the clerk go?
She went to go find him.
She ain't go get a hush puppy.
You wait long enough for everybody else to leave. They included.
I told him if he ain't home,
Yeah. And the clerk got absent. Madam Clerk, call the petitioner, please. The gentleman.
Mr. Carlton Atkinson.
Please come up, Ms. Atkins. Please come.
Atkins.
Go right ahead, sir.
Hello, Mr. Good to see you.
Hello, sir.
Doing a
Good to
great
see
job.
you. Thank you, sir.
You and your staff.
Thank you, sir.
I'm not here speaking against education. I lived in Edgecombe County for 89 years. A resident of Edgecombe County or a citizen or whatever I am, I live here 89 years. Y'all don't hear nothing about data center, I know that. You know more about it now than education is fine. If you got sense of music. If you ain't, it's very dangerous. I'm speaking in terms of common sense. Now, y'all are common sense people, they want this microphone, ain't got y'all don't be common sense. I can tell that. All of y'all. What is the benefit to the citizens of Edgecombe County for the data center? Data center. Now, I know the people want to hear is only for one reason. That's what I'm not saying y'all get money. I'm for that. But people from the data center are not interested in the benefits of people of Edgecombe County. Only that said. The benefit of the people of Edgecombe County is y'all job. Not the data center people. I reckon that's all we gotta say. Everybody's gonna say that all this education stuff, so I reckon that's supposed to sit down. Y'all that conversation, you know we don't need that. Thanks, Seb.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate your comments.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
That's all. Just don't write it down.
Well, you're Mr. Evans' favorite petitioner. So we had to hear from you, okay? Right, Ms. Evans?
Yes, sir. Hope to see you again next week.
Anytime you come and say, oh, thank you. Okay, you can always come, even if you don't sign up.
Y'all done a good job.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
All these years, y'all done a good job.
Thank you, sir.
You can't keep on.
We try. Thank you, sir. Mm.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on, budget items, we have none, Ms. Evans?
No budget amendments tonight, sir.
Moving on to 7.3, to approve changes for the health department.
At 7.2, Mr.
7.2
Chairman.
was
Yes, sir.
consideration approve additional fund appropriations for Edgecombe Memorial Library. You had some comments on that?
Yes, sir, Mr. Wiggins. I guess I could filibuster all night long. I don't need to on this item. I just need to simply say that the Edgecombe Memorial Library requested an increased budget amount of $83,275. I looked back and tried to do my homework on this thing, and bottom line, and I'll be real quick, they've received no additional funding in over 10 years. I don't know of any other entity that we have held tight on for over 10 years. I just simply make a motion that we fund at least 50% of that requested amount. 50% of 83,275 will be $41,637.50. I'd like to make a motion that we fund $42,000 of the requested 83,275 for this budgeted upcoming year.
Do I have a second? It appears that you've got sufficient seconds. Questions?
Can I have one comment?
Go right ahead.
I'd like for us to put that back on the discussion when we look at other increases in mid-year to go ahead and fund the rest of it as well.
So noted. Any other questions or comments? All in favor, let it be known by voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, there appears to be no opposition, so funded. Does that require anything else, Ms. Evans?
No, sir. Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. As noted in my memo, we will prepare a
Budget amendment.
a budget amendment to bring back at your next meeting. It will be fund balance appropriated, but we'll bring that budget amendment back for your review.
Well, we didn't tell you where to get it, so you find it.
It's the only place I can find it. Yes, sir.
Moving on, it appears that it has been approved. Consideration of change in fees for the health department. You see them in your agenda package. Is there a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none. It is approved. Number 7.4, take that, Ms. Evans.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. As you'll recall, during our your budget work session and the FY27 budget public hearing, we proposed proceeding with the financing of a list of capital projects. Your directive was to continue with our due diligence so that you may make a final decision as to whether to proceed. Since then, we've discussed our financing plan with staff at the Local Government Commission in preparation of our appearance before them to get their approval. A solicitation of bids from lending institutions will soon be published with a due date of July 23rd. The next step then would be to hold a public hearing. I recommend that you call for this public hearing be held at your August 3rd meeting.
Motion?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that public hearing is so called. Next, go ahead, Mr. Evans.
Item 7.4 in your agenda packet is regarding revisions to our solid waste and water and sewer fee schedules. Upon closer review, we noticed that we had inconsistencies between the water and sewer and solid waste fee schedules and the budget ordinances that you adopted at your meeting on June 22nd. To correct that, the attached changes are recommended for your approval. This includes adding fees that are in the ordinance but were not included in the fee schedules. The changes include increasing the 2-inch water tap fees by $100, adding to the fee schedule the flat rate for customers who have sewer only, and that being $73.60 for 4,000 gallons. And increasing the discounted household solid waste fee for customers who have household waste service from $60 to $62 and adding it to the solid waste fee schedule. I recommend that you approve the revised water and sewer and solid waste fee schedules as presented.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none, it is approved. Next.
Next is regarding interlocal agreement with Duplin County for the transfer, detention, and care of inmates. Attached for your consideration is an interlocal agreement between the county, Edgecombe County Sheriff, Duplin County, and Duplin County Sheriff for the transfer, detention, and care of Duplin County inmates at the Edgecombe County Detention Center. This agreement states that Duplin County Jail is currently over its authorized capacity, while the Edgecombe County Detention Center is under its authorized capacity and has the ability to accept additional inmates. The agreement is authorized pursuant to general statute as noted, which allows counties to enter into interlocal agreements with other counties for jail facilities to which prisoners may be transferred. Under the proposed agreement, the sheriff would accept, detain, and care for inmates transferred from Duplin County. The agreement provides that Duplin County would pay Edgecombe County a daily rate of $50 per inmate per day for each inmate housed at the Edgecombe County Detention Center. The agreement also makes clear that Edgecombe County is not guaranteeing a specific number of inmate spaces or beds to Duplin County. Acceptance of inmates would be based on availability at the time of the request. Duplin County would be responsible for transporting inmates to and from Edgecombe County Detention Center and would be required to provide advance notice before transporting, dropping off, or picking up inmates. Duplin County would also be responsible for certain costs outside the daily rate, including prescription medications, extraordinary medical services, hospitalization-related expenses, and other medical services provided by outside healthcare providers. The agreement further provides that the initial term would be for 2 years, and it may be extended for up to 2 additional one-year periods. Either party may terminate the agreement upon a 60-day advance written notice. The agreement has been reviewed and approved by Sheriff Atkinson, and he is requesting your approval.
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Question. All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none, it is approved. Moving on.
Item 7.7 is regarding our water and sewer standard specifications. Included for your consideration is an update to our standard specifications for our water and sewer system. This manual provides a standard guideline for any repair, upgrade, or extensions to our systems and establishes minimum specifications for materials, design, and construction. It requires periodic review and updates to make sure that the specifications are consistent with the needs of the system. I recommend that you approve the updated standard specifications as presented.
Motion.
So moved.
Second. Questions. All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none, it is approved.
Item 7.8 is regarding our water shortage response plan. For your consideration is a revised water shortage response plan for the Edgecombe County Water and Sewer Department, which is to be updated periodically. Updates to the plan include the addition of public notification sources and the granting of authority to declare conservation measures to the county manager. It's recommended that you adopt the revised water shortage response plans as presented. I do want to clarify that as you've seen in the plan, you do retain the authority to either call for voluntary restrictions or mandatory restrictions. It notes in here that in times where there is a more immediate need to enact these measures, that authority would be given to me. But happy to answer any questions that you have.
Did I get a motion? I didn't get a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Quick, any questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none, it is approved. Go ahead, Ms. Evans.
Next is regarding a rural health transformation grant. Edgecombe County EMS has been awarded grant funding through the Rural Health Transformation Program Mobile Integrated Health Grant Administration by the NC Department of Health and Human Services. The project will include increasing access to medications for opioid use disorder, strengthening behavioral health crisis response, and integrating services into a rural care systems within the community. The county EMS has been awarded, or I should say Edgecombe County Emergency Services has been awarded grant funding in the amount of $346,650.30. The grant project will support the Rural Health Transformation Program Mobile Integrated Health Initiative. As part of the project, Edgecombe Emergency Service will establish or expand services through a mobile integrated health community paramedicine model. This will include hiring a grant-funded community paramedic position. As you know, we already have two community paramedic positions that are funded through our opioid settlement fund, so they will work alongside our current community paramedics. However, because this is not opioid funded, their work actually can be a little bit broader than how it's somewhat restricted now for opioid services, opioid response services. I recommend that you accept the grant award, approve the grant project ordinance, and approve the grant funded position. This position will be funded through the grant project and will be tied to the availability of grant funds.
Motion.
So moved.
We got a second.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none, it is approved. We have no appointments, is that correct, Ms.
No,
Evans?
sir, Mr. Chairman, no appointments.
After this release, is anything that you need to bring to our attention?
No, sir, happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none, it is approved. Contracts, anything to be brought to the board's attention there?
You have a number of contracts there that require your approval. There's a brief description there. As I noted at the beginning of the meeting, would ask that you add the contract for Smith Gardner for $219,000. This is for engineering and environmental services at the landfill. Also want to note, it's not on your list, but there are two others that only require my approval, but want to give you notice that there is one contract at $30,000 for Denali East Group, and this is for medical director services for the health department, and another one for Michelle Holton, not to exceed contract of $6,051. And this is for contract pharmacy management services for the health department. I'm happy to answer any questions if you want.
Was this one for Smith Gardner, was this money already in the?
Yes, ma'am, it's already budgeted.
With the addition to the agenda, is there a motion to approve those 7 and 12?
So moved.
Second that. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none, it is approved. Departmental reports, we normally, you review those ourselves, we request one of those. Go ahead, Ms. Barfield.
Yes, sir. I'd like to invite Ms. Barfield.
Anything you want to be brought to our attention in these reports?
Nothing else, you have your water and sewer update as well as solid waste report.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Commissioners. In this last report for June 30th, 2026, just got a few disclaimers that I have mentioned in the past. We still have approximately 3 months of sales tax that we will accrue back to FY26. Average collections for this year is about $940,000, so we could see a little over $2 million in revenue that'll still go back to FY26. Of course, you know that's depending on the economy and summer spending rate. For expenditures, we'll be posting back to June through the mid-August. We also still have transfers to health and DSS that we'll be making. So as you can see, too many unknown variables right now to really get a picture on how much fund balance we'll use in this fiscal year. Any questions about the general fund? So just moving along, I just wanted to touch base real quickly on solid waste. We are expecting the landfill to close, needing our general fund dollars. However, the transfer at this time is not expected to be more than what we, build into the budget. What you don't see posted in these reports yet is the $320,000 in post-closure costs that have probably since been posted, but was not posted at the time that we gathered the report. So that's all I have for the budget report, but do like to keep you informed about our auditors. We had our first on-site visit last Monday, June 28th. That went well. We have 2 more visits. The next one's coming up, I believe, somewhere around the 23rd of July. And then we'll have another one in August. So we have very much started the process for the audit of FY26. And as we continue to move forward, I'll keep you updated on how it's going. But so far, we're on track.
Any questions? Thank you so much. Ms. Evans, manager.
Under manager's report, do want to recognize recent retirees. Want our minutes to reflect a recognition of Miss Melinda Ingram, who retired from the Department of Social Services with 36 years of service. Also, Clarence Taylor in the Sheriff's Office. He was the animal control supervisor who recently retired with 19 years of service. I want to commend them both for their service to the county and thank them all that they've done for Edgecombe County. You also have under manager's report my major events and updates for the past month. You have the monthly workforce development indicators report, the monthly TDA financial report. I do want to draw your attention. There's a copy in your packet. We received a letter of thanks from from North Carolina Treasurer's Office, and it's regarding our work and assistance with the town of Speed and the state, and their consultant's been working with the town in their dissolution process. So as you know, as of July 1, they no longer are a town, but they will always be the Speed community. And we will continue to work with them to help them to make sure that they keep their identity as a community. Land, just as a note, you approved at your last meeting the interlocal agreement. So we've approved it and the town has approved it as well. We have not yet, but we'll soon be receiving the assets that remain with them, which includes some money, not much, but some money that we've planned, as we've mentioned, and was in the plan that you approved, that we will reinvest in the community with some things.
I think we had also talked about possibly how they could maintain those lights.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got a call about that.
And I'm just giving you the ups in terms of what we'd like to see you can continue to work on. Okay.
Yes, sir. Would you like me to speak about that a little bit?
Go right ahead.
Sure. So what we found is that it costs the town about $900 a month for those lights. It is not something that we do for other towns, and so I don't see that is something that we can do long term. Part of what I expect my recommendation will be for the use of the funds will be to pay to keep the lights on for at least 6 months. That will give them the opportunity. We will help the citizens coordinate with the local power provider to be able to transition to their own personal utility lights in their yard. Depending on setup costs, it's a relatively low monthly cost, but there is a monthly cost to that. But I will note that they will no longer be paying town taxes. So hopefully it will be not much of, if any financial burden on the citizens. But we'll also bring back to you as far as the plan is. I think I mentioned before that we will meet with a committee, a meeting we went to a couple of months ago. Mayor Harrison asked for volunteers for a committee. We will review these recommendations for the use of these funds, including putting a new sign up in town and some of these other things. But we'll bring that final plan back to you.
Any questions?
With what they have left in their
I guess they got a checking account or a general fund.
Yes, sir.
Will be transferred to us.
We anticipate it's about $40,000, $42,000. There's some question about part of that is some Powell bill money that they receive, towns receive for work on their streets. The folks at the LGC are checking to see can they actually transfer that to us because counties don't receive those funds. And they're lobbying for them to be able to transfer. So outside of that, it'll be about $20,000. So as I mentioned,
in other words, it might revert back.
it might revert back to the state. But we do have the treasurer's office lobbying for those funds to come to us, especially considering that it was, stipulated in the plan that we would reinvest any funds that we receive back to the community.
$20,000 will power electric for $1,080 a year. What did you say it was?
$900 a month.
$10,000 a year. $10,800 a year, right? So that would help them a year or two.
Yeah.
Okay. Thinking out loud.
I'm not gonna pay taxes. I mean, they're gonna save. They don't have to pay any town tax.
That's good.
Not that I'm sure it was.
Did they have a town tax? Did they have a?
They
local?
did.
They
Yes,
did
sir.
have a local.
We collected it for them.
How much was it?
I don't remember right offhand. I don't even recall right offhand what their tax rate was. Not many households there, so it wasn't a ton that we collected. So.
Any other questions? Moving on, go ahead, Mr.
We've already discussed the withdrawal of the offer to purchase from Energy
Well,
Stores.
let's continue to talk about that because
Yes, sir.
I think some of my thinking is I was kind of waiting to see what they were going to do, and since they have withdrawn that, I think the board should be considering a moratorium on data centers. So I really wanted to get a feel for how the board felt about that in terms of it, so we can go ahead and make that as an agenda item. If we need a timetable that we need to do that, I don't know. Would there be a timetable that we need to
Yes,
do?
sir. There's a process like you went through with the solar farm application. So there's a public hearing required. So we would have to notice the public hearing and have the public hearing before you could.
Well, let me get a feeling from the board in terms of how they feel about that, because I would like to go ahead and request that get worked on.
As a part of that notice, would we have to put a time frame on what we were proposing as our moratorium?
Yes. Well, I know the statute requires a time frame. I'm not sure offhand if the notice requires it, but the statute certainly requires a identified time frame. And I believe we included the time frame in the notice in the past.
Any discussion from anybody?
So we rather go with the moratorium as opposed to the ban?
I would take the same folks.
I
come
don't.
right back when they see that bird.
Well, they might come back, but it's our call.
I want
And
to bring up something else.
and I'm not supportive of a ban on nothing because I think anything there's a possibility of coming back, and so I really don't support a ban. But that's the feeling of the board. You've got the way I feel about it.
They were talking about ban.
I'm for a moratorium.
I'd just like to say this before we go any further. This is not about a data center. I see some very slippery slopes here when we're letting 50 people with 1,362 signatures, some that were not even in this county, I'm sure. I didn't count them. I didn't look at them. Come in here and start putting us into the mode to think that we should ban this or ban that. And I'm not talking about data centers. I'm talking about anything. Tonight we sat here for an hour and discussed a sand pit. There's sand pits all over Edgecombe County, and I don't want to encroach on anybody's property either. But how far can you go to tell somebody what they can do with their land when they meet the requirements according to our own staff? It said at the very bottom that they met all 6 requirements of the staff report. But it's not just that, it's just my fear of people coming up here with misinformation, with no facts. Mr. Vincent Bridges is a wonderful person. He's a very intelligent person. He's a lawyer. Tar River's been much lower than it is right now. They had to dam it up back in the 60s because the water got low. You remember that, don't you, Mr. Wiggins?
I remember.
And I can Google anything I want and give you a good argument for it. I am a little tired of hearing that it's gonna use all of our water, and it's gonna take all of our electricity and all the things that they've used since day one to turn this board around to the point where you're saying we'll do a moratorium or either we'll ban it. Now, I'm gonna be gone in December, so obviously it's not gonna matter what I say, but I'm gonna have my last say before I go. And all I'm speaking on is the fear of projects coming to this board and you sitting here thinking that these people are gonna drive you not to vote for it because they fear what they fear. I fear what I fear and you fear what you fear. We all fear different things. But the facts are the facts and you cannot dispute the facts. The state of Virginia is recruiting data centers. There's over 4,000 in this country. I'm not advocating for a data center. I'm simply saying, don't lock yourself out of that. Just don't do it because people come up here and say things that they say. And it really bothers me a lot because, you know, there's almost a transfer of power going on. What are we going to happen? What's going to happen when we come up with the next project and they're standing up here saying it's going to take the water, it's going to ruin the land? My wife and her 4 brothers grew up less than a mile from Kingsburg. Do you think for 1 minute that I'm going to get up here and propose to vote for something that's going to hurt the people of this county? No, not going to do it. The truth is, we don't know what kind of industry we bring in here. We don't know 25 years from now what it's going to do. And we can't guarantee anybody that. I heard a young man stand up and say he wanted us to guarantee this or guarantee that out there at the chapel that night. We can't guarantee anybody anything, only what we're basing our knowledge on. And I hope it's facts and not just people that are against something. We got 51% of our county is on Medicaid. We got an aging population. The population has dropped since the last census. About how much, Mr. Evans? 10,000 people.
So over the last 20 years about that.
Yes. I mean, we've got to put something at Kingsburg. We don't need a data center. But are we going to rule it out? We don't need whatever kind of manufacturing business they may like. But are we going to rule it out because they say they don't like a certain manufacturer? I'm just seeing things going on now that really frighten me. Because when you let one small group take over, it's a dangerous situation. I've heard very few facts about a data center from any of those people. And again, they said that I was for a data center. That was an outright lie. I never said that. Never even insinuated that anywhere. I said, let's look at them. Let's see what they got. And what did I say? Let's get their financials and see if they're even capable of putting a data center on here. And I told Mr. Evans a couple of months ago, the data center was over and out and gone and done with. And I knew that because I talked to somebody that was in the project. But that's my concern. And I think it's a valid concern, to be honest with you. Because those people are not going to stop now. They're going to move on to the next thing that they see as something that's threatening their way of life, whatever it might be. Or it's going to, pollute the water or ruin the air or whatever it's going to do. And I just don't want to see the people that are supposed to be leading the county, holding the county back because 1,362 people got a petition and got together. And if you'll notice, there's fewer of them every time there's a meeting here. And the longer it goes on, the fewer there'll be. But even when you tell them it's not coming, they still want to talk about a data center. But then it's going to move on to the next big project we have. What's it going to do to our area? Yeah, I don't know. You don't know, and we won't know. We may not know till 25 years again, but it's just a very frightening thing. You let a small portion, how many people, Mr. Evans, in the county? About 50,000? 48,000 people. 1,362 people are going to tell you what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. The end. That's all I got.
Any other comments from any other commissioner?
One day at a time.
And I guess my response to that is we look at any application that we get for a project and we make a decision on it at a time. And I think I'm influenced by information that I've received from the community and others. And I guess that's the reason for my request, and that's, I think those of us here, we can be influenced, and that's what these it is all about. Listening to the public, listen to the other information we get, and make a decision. But I'm looking at it one request at a time, and I don't rule out anything that might come to this board that we might could put in Kingsborough. Back to the question in terms of putting it on the agenda, I support putting it there, and I think Mr. Thorne has spoken, and any other commissioners would be in support of that.
Yeah.
I would certainly be in support of it. I think now is the time to put it in place in light of what's happening not only in North Carolina but across the United States now. It's just big companies not providing enough information. We're digging, and all the information that I've gone and got out myself independently from anything I've heard in this board or elsewhere has not been that great promising to me. So I'm saying I think a moratorium in place until such time as we can really find out if there's any benefit for Edgecombe County. And we don't want to, I don't want to close the door completely and say no. But I do want to say, let's put a strong hold pause on it until we can find out more accurate information as it will relate to us. And I think during that time too, from what I'm hearing, if it relates to data centers, they're changing so rapidly that you can almost hardly keep up with the newer ones from the old ones are yesterday. The newer ones are tomorrow. And so we gotta try to stay ahead of it. And if it's something that comes through that can benefit Edgecombe County, certainly we want to buy into it as long as we don't sacrifice those environmental issues that we've got.
And this book can also rescind any action that it might take. So
I'm in support of a moratorium.
that appears to give some direction to Mr. Evans, and I would suggest a time frame of Mr. Peters, maybe.
Well, if you want to take action tonight to call for the public hearing at your August meeting, then we could give notice of that. If you want to stipulate how long you intend for the moratorium to be, we can include that in the notice as well.
I would say 5 years.
5 years?
I was thinking 6 months.
Well,
were you conservative?
Well,
that 2 years.
I don't think we can take a moratorium 5 years. That's a ban. That's not a moratorium.
Yeah, I think.
Well, then, it's at least started a conversation on it, didn't it? It created a conversation on it. Well, what
What
is?
were you saying? What were you suggesting?
24 months.
24 months.
24 to 36 max.
What appears the motion is to give a notice of a 24-month ban. Do I get a second?
Moratorium.
24 month
Call
ban.
for a public hearing.
Call for a public hearing for a 24-month moratorium. Did I get a second on that?
Second.
Question.
With room to expand it after 24.
Well, we can always.
The motion, to be clear, you're asking for to call for a public hearing to consider the moratorium and direct
Well,
staff to publish the notice for the public hearing.
So corrected. That would be the motion.
Yes, sir.
Somebody said you need talking to your microphone.
Who?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor, let it be known by vote sign aye. All opposed? We have one and out. The motion is 6-1. Now moving on with your.
Mr. Chairman, could I also, just for you all to think about this, and I would suggest we further discuss it, or add this agenda item. In part of the work, as you've seen in the report from the Data Center Advisory Group, also included some discussion, some suggestion about possible other changes to our ordinance. In fact, it was mentioned by one of the commenters tonight that there was a list of recommendations of further ordinance changes related to data centers. I'd like for you to think about, you don't have to answer tonight unless you want to, but we would need some direction from you. Staff needs direction as to whether or not you want us to go back and look at those recommendations to pull together a list of those recommendations. We'll go through the full process. We can even take it back before the data center advisory group. Ultimately, we'll have to go back to the planning board, public hearing, if we make any other changes.
Well, I think we need to, if that was made by the advisory committee, I think we need to go proceed with that in terms of amending our UDO. We've only got a moratorium, and we've got 24 months to do that work.
Right.
So during that time frame, if we want to amend the UDO, we
We
should.
can do that. Okay. Just want to make sure that
We have not banned data centers. It's just that this is a time to take any corrective action that we might need to do to amend the UDO.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond the UDO, I think it's time. I know that document, the county land use, comprehensive land use guide, I know that's supposed to be till 2034, but that's coming up in every single, that needs to be.
But you know, one of the gentlemen that was making the presentation, he's kind of correct in terms,
That's a living document.
it is, and every time you do an amendment, every time you do something, you amend the plan, don't you? Every time. So it's
We
not,
haven't been updating it.
I would agree, but it's, anytime we take action, it's amended, isn't it? It is amended.
Well, it's.
If you do something different than in that plan, you have actually amended that plan.
Maybe so.
I'm asking.
Let Mr. Spell answer.
Yeah, come on. Don't put your foot in your mouth. Get in something you had no business. Come on there.
He's battle worn.
He's battle worn now? Okay.
battle worn.
He's in the right job, isn't he? Okay.
Yeah,
Come on.
It's after the land use, the future land use map, whenever you do a rezoning, that's amended, not the plan itself. But anytime you make approve any type of rezoning that may be contrary to that, the land use that's recommended in the comprehensive plan, when you approve that change, then that land use map, that area is automatically amended.
That area?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Not the plan?
That's correct.
Okay, all right, okay.
I think my point there is that document just needs, I think we need to
I would agree.
refresh.
I would agree. I would agree.
12 years is a long time ago.
It sure is.
It'll
A lot of
change
things
every
change.
year. I don't
But
care
you-
what you're
but
doing.
And I would get those
Yeah, but that
suggestions.
shouldn't be changed every, we shouldn't wait 20 years.
But you know, I guess,
Right along with everything.
like I've said, I've been here a long time. And for many years, we've had no rezonings. This county is just beginning to get active as relate to land use and the rezoning process. Okay? So even as relate to the what we've just done on the quasi judicial, we've had very few of those during my history here. So I guess our county is getting active, and as we get active, our citizens get active. So that's what's really happening to us, okay? And so, you know, we've been sitting here for years doing as we please without question from our public. Our public is beginning to question what we do, okay? And it's another day. Any other comments? If not, are you through? Miss Evans.
I'm sorry, I thought so.
Didn't we have to go, were we supposed to go back to the minutes something?
Yes, but I was going to mention a couple other
Go ahead.
things. At a previous meeting, Mr. Johnny Williams, who was here earlier, had come up in public petition. He lives on Webb's Lane in Princeville about issue with the
Right.
water lines, but he was also commending our water and sewer staff for the work they were doing. But you asked me to give you an update. Staff was already aware of the issue. They've been trying to make some minor repairs. What they've determined, this is a line that's been in there a long time, long before we took over the system. They're going to replace the entire line on that street, and it's scheduled to be done this week. So you'd asked me to bring an update to you on that, so just wanted to give you that update. And also, you have
See
a
what a
copy-
citizen complaint did?
Yeah.
Got a line put
There you
in.
go.
Go ahead.
You have a copy of the newsletter of our Health Equity Advisory Board. Did you mention earlier to revisit the minutes from June 22nd? You have a copy if you decided you want to go ahead and adopt those to approve those.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion and a second. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the vote sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so approved.
Did they approve the June 1st meeting?
They did.
Okay.
Anything else? Ms. Evans?
That's it under my report, sir.
Commissioner's report. Anything?
Yes, sir, Mr. Wiggins. I placed at everybody's seat, a communication that was sent from our state, fire marshal's office, Mr. Brian Taylor. And the reason I put it here is, I like sharing good news. And, I like commending people who need to be commended. And our fire chief in Macclesfield, Mr. Ethan Strickland, has done a great job, and his team does a great job. Matter of fact, I'll tell you this, the reason I'm giving you this is my pastor placed this in my hands because he's a part of the Macclesfield Volunteer Fire Department. He said, Ralph, he's watching us right now. Hey, Steve. And I told him I would do this, and he said he'd like for, good news to be presented, and thanks go to where thanks belong. So you got it. It just tells you that they went through an inspection process with the fire marshal's office. You can read it. I won't read it to you. Exactly what happened here is they got a better rating, and that transcends to all the citizens in our area that our homeowners should be a little bit less expensive. So thank you, Ethan, and Macclesfield Volunteer Fire Department. We appreciate that.
Great work.
Thank you, Evans. Anybody else?
I needed to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Our North Carolina conference is coming up, and I know at our last meeting, Mr. Thorne said when we made a decision about staff travel that it could be also with commissioners, and so I wanted to ask that question. I don't have a problem with that, but I still believe that we need to make sure that we have someone, and it doesn't have to be me, to represent us at our state and national conference in order to vote. If you're not there, you don't get a vote. You don't get to say yes or nay or who's going to represent you on the state
Do
level.
you have a request? Are you requesting?
I'm requesting that we still send at least one person to state and national conference. As that we have a delegate.
I would make a motion that we continue to have a representative there.
I second.
I'll second.
Could I interject, Mr. Wiggins, before you take a vote? You do need to specify who that is because we have to notify it.
Well, that's gonna be Ms. Harris. She just asked for
We
herself.
just need to make sure that
She just asked for herself, okay?
We
Okay.
just need to make sure.
The request was a general one for her. Okay?
I said it didn't have to be me.
Who else is gonna be? We're not gonna let you be mad and send me.
Ms. Harris,
I wouldn't be mad because if I wanted to go, I'd have.
The request is.
I'm gonna
is-
say this, Ms. Harris, you've done a great job in representing us, and we all appreciate that. And we wouldn't take that away from you for nothing in the world.
We don't want that fight. Go ahead. You had a-
But we haven't told the staff that they're not allowed, if the conference.
Yes, we did. We voted. We voted that we also said, we also said
Exactly.
that
We can still make exceptions to that policy if we need to send a delegate to a conference that's important.
it is for us.
Yes.
But it is, we stated it is for us as commissioners to determine whether we were gonna
I
fund it.
understand. I was just clarifying for everyone's sake. We didn't just say you're not allowed to not leave Edgecombe County.
No, we didn't say, but I think it's right for us to say that we will have a delegate at our national and state, okay? And that it would be a budgeted item. It can come out of the budget. And the board, normally that is a request in terms of who goes, and that's normally has been you, okay? So you're right, it is open to a commissioner, okay? And if it determines that we need more than one commissioner, we can request that. It's still a board decision, okay, in terms of who that's gonna be. So it appears that there is a consensus here that
There was a motion. Is that motion amended to specify Ms. Harris?
that was so,
Amend my motion.
that would be, I said, that's my second.
Yes, sir.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the vote sign aye.
Uh,
All opposed? Hearing none. It is approved, okay.
Mr. Wiggins, one other thing.
Go ahead.
In speaking with this young man in the back, Officer Weeks,
Mhm.
we need to do something about the ability for people in the back to hear. And I think it's not just us speaking in our mics. I think maybe we need some additional speakers in the back. And also, we thank you so much for making us work. You are not the first. You just jogged my memory to say this in public. We need to correct that.
Can I, not to push back?
Yeah.
But it is really dependent on this microphone
Right.
being, it doesn't have to
Close
be
to you.
this close to you, but it at least has to be pointed towards you.
Right.
I know some, and it's fine, some of you like to lean back, but you really have, because it can be any microphone, it can be any number of speakers. You really got to have the microphone in front of it, because you can tell this one here, the difference between being here and here. When people come up, it makes a difference. So, and I have to remind myself to do it.
Right.
Really, if just lean in, pull it towards you, it'll help
When you
tremendously.
say the back, you mean the back of this room?
Yeah, I mean, I've had numerous, like, let's go back, to give you a perfect example, when we had all the people here gathering about the most recent, let's see, which one was it?
There was a gentleman.
Solar farm,
Yeah.
solar farm
Hard of
issues.
hearing, I think.
The solar farm issue that came back, went to Superior Court and was reinstated. That one, I had numerous people out here saying that they could not hear any of us when we were addressing the public. So, I mean, Mr. Wiggins, I guess y'all need to remind us. But I mean,
Yeah, you do, because I have
lots of people were saying they could not hear in the audience.
I have a tendency to lean back,
Yeah.
you know, so I
What
But-
the city
but-
of Rocky Mount does, they make you push a button, so
Yeah,
you
that's how
have
I
to
was
come up to the microphone if you're speaking.
Right.
oh, dude.
That's what we have at the NCACC.
Well, I think that the young lady who was petitioning for the mining thing that tonight, she also said she could not hear while she was sitting there. And I can recall when I was sitting in that chair right there, November 3rd, I could not hear a word that was going on. I mean, I could hear some things were in and out intermittently, but the further back you are, the less likely you are to fully understand.
It's all about gotta speak
Yeah, I
into
understand
this
it's the mic still, but we had this conversation. Remember back during that time when I was in the back, I tell you, if they talk in the mic, hold the mic appropriately,
Yeah.
that we'll do it, but we're not holding the mics, and we like these comfortable chairs to make me slide out of here. That we can't.
But only thing I can say is
That's why I
that
said
if there is also some help to any other help that we can do in bringing our speaker system up, that I can lean back and do that. Okay.
I'm not sure if that's possible, but we'll see what we can do. Yes.
Because I will. But as best you all can, you know, tell us to lean up.
Yes.
I think
We'll remind.
I think that would be helpful in terms of you did it. I saw you doing it really for the people that were speaking. That would be helpful in terms of. Can you hear me back there now? Okay, and that would solve it. That would help with the issue.
NCACC actually did a training at one of our meetings.
Some of us have passed training age. Is there anything else from commissioners? Anything else from
Thank you for
commissioners?
reminding us, actually.
Yes, that's a good reminder. I think we needed that. Mr. Peters?
No, sir.
That's that's the smartest man in that's the smartest man in here. You know, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we scheduled to go into closed session discussion and economic development, North Carolina General Statute 133-318-11.
It's too late to eat.
But John Brown ain't had nothing since lunch.
Ain't something about
Me, pushing on it, pushing.
He talking about too late for me to
I
eat.
thought you was eating before you came in here.
I ate 2 pieces of cornbread, so you wouldn't hear my stomach.
Oh, listen, I said take 2 pieces of cornbread,
She's in there.
2 pieces of chicken, some collard.
We ready? Is there any other business coming to open session?
Nothing else from staff, Mr. Chair.
Anything from board? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, we now stand adjourned. Thank you.
Better.